If you want your dog to reliably come when called like this, Orbit, come. In this video, I'm gonna give you the top 3 mistakes that I see dog owners make when it comes to training the recall. We're gonna cover the mistake, I'm gonna give you the solution for each one, and I'll give you examples throughout the video. Let's get into it. So, recall mistake number 1, punishing the recall. I remember this one time I was at the park, nice summer day, big open grass park, and I'm just hanging out with Orbit, my dog, and we're just walking around, and then I hear this dude start yelling, "Hey!" And I'm looking at the park, and then I see him, and he's walking like this, in one direction, yelling. And I'm like, what is he yelling at? And then I see this golden retriever just ripping around the entire park, going up to all the dogs, playing with him, running away, jumping on people. I see the owner trying to call for him and then try to reach for him, and the dog just runs right past. The dog is having a fantastic time. At one point, the dog jumped into a fountain, like a fountain that the park had, jumps into the fountain, starts splashing around in the fountain, jumps out, starts running around. It was crazy. And the whole thing lasted like 5 minutes. It was a long time. I'm just standing there watching this whole thing play out. And it was a busy day at the park. Everybody's looking, everybody's laughing, and you could tell that the owner was getting very embarrassed, very angry and upset. And after 5 minutes of the dog having this amazing time, eventually the dog decided to come back to his owner. He just walked right back, right up to him. And the moment the dog just walked right up to him, the owner grabs him by the collar, clips on the leash, pulls him out of the park, throws him in the car, and they leave. What do you think that golden retriever learned in that moment? Do you think he learned that, oh, the reason Dad's upset with me was because I was ripping around the whole park and I wasn't coming when called, and I'm not gonna do that next time? Or do you think the dog made the more immediate connection? Man, I was having so much fun at the park. This was so much fun. This is the best time ever. But the moment I came back to Dad, something bad happened. Next time this dog is off leash, having a great time, enjoying himself, and Dad tells him to come, you think it's more likely that he comes when called or doesn't? This is a huge mistake that most dog owners make, punishing behaviors that you want the dog to do. Just to give you a human example, this is like if your husband finally fixed that thing in the house that you've been telling him about for the last 3 weeks, and he finally fixes it, and instead of acknowledging it, you should have done that sooner. Oh, you should have done it when I first asked. Oh, you didn't even do it right. You should have just hired somebody else to do it. Or it's like if your wife took a lot of effort, made you a nice meal, and instead of acknowledging it, this is a little overcooked here. You should have done this instead of that. You should have. Maybe you even see it as constructive criticism. But your wife might not see it that way. She might see it as like, oh, he just doesn't like my cooking. You didn't give her the thing that she wanted. And so you punished the exact behavior that you wanted. And people do this constantly in dog training and in their human relationships all the time. And the reason why it happens is because most people are just unaware. You're unaware that the recall is something you have to teach. You're unaware of how to influence behavior. And so the solution here is you need to be aware of how behavior works. And I'll break it down very simply for you. If you want your dog or a person to keep doing something or do more of something, you should reinforce it. You should do something that makes it more likely that they repeat that thing in the future. And if you want them to stop doing something or do less of something, then you should punish it. You should do something that makes it less likely they repeat that thing in the future. So usually what happens is people start out here, they're just completely unaware, they don't even know a recall is something they have to train in the first place until something happens, like our golden retriever friend, or you're on a hike, off a leash, and then your dog chases after a squirrel and they get lost for 15 minutes, and then you're like, all right, I need to teach my dog how to come back when called, right? So you're going on YouTube, you hire some trainers in person, and this leads us to mistake number 2. Teaching the recall using only positive reinforcement. In the living room with their treat pouch and their high-value treats, come, yes, come, yes, come, yes. They go to the backyard, come, yes, come, yes. And they just hit the recall reps, right? And after a while, the dog is coming and calling every time real snappy with it, running right to you, right? To get these hot dogs that you have in your treat pouch, right? And then you start thinking, okay, I get it now. Like, man, my dog knows the recall compared to before. And so you go back to that park, you go back to that hike, and then your dog is off a leash. My dog knows the recall. They see that dog in the environment. Come. Completely blows you off. Come. Completely blows you. Come. They're at the other dog playing with the other dog, right? They're in the middle of the woods chasing that squirrel. Completely blows you off. You got your hot dog treats and everything. Why does that happen? Well, very simply put, chasing squirrels for your dog is more reinforcing than coming when called for the hot dog treats. Or playing with dogs is more reinforcing than coming when called for the hot dog treats. You see? Your dog will do whichever is most reinforcing in the moment. So in your living room or in your backyard, obviously they're gonna come when called every time. But in the real world, there's a lot of other competing reinforcers. And so that's why the training completely falls apart at this stage here. Now the solution, you need to teach the recall using positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. So when we're training the recall and we tell the dog to come and the dog decides to ignore us, we have a long line on the dog. So when the dog ignores the recall,
Arrow, come.
we can pop, 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 pop at a sufficiently aversive level where the dog is motivated to turn off that discomfort. Then the dog comes to us, we release the pressure, and then when they get to us, we reward them, same as usual. And that combination of positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement is what makes the behavior reliable even around competing reinforcers like other dogs or squirrels in the environment. So using these two things together is an absolute must. Now, what typically happens is people go through this process, they learn that that doesn't work, and then they start using negative reinforcement in the training on their long line and stuff, and they're like, okay, I get it. Okay, I've done, a couple recalls off of squirrels, I've done a couple off of other dogs, and like, okay, I think my dog is like starting to get this. I'm getting the hang of this training thing, right? And then this leads us to mistake number 3. Thinking your dog's recall is reliable off leash, all right? So again, usually what happens, you get a few good reps in there, you've called your dog off some other dogs a few times, called them off of squirrels maybe even, right? On the long line. And your dog you're like, okay, man, I think my dog knows the recall, And so you go back to the park, you go back to the nice open dog beach, go off the leash on the hike, clip off the leash. My dog knows the recall, I've taught it. And then what happens? Your dog sees that squirrel in the environment, your dog sees that other dog up ahead, taking off after it, you tell him to come, nothing. Why does that happen? It's because in the past, your dog has learned that when they're off leash, you don't reinforce any of the behaviors. They don't have to do anything. They can do whatever they want when they're off leash. You see? You thought by having them on a 30-foot long line and by teaching the recall using positive and negative reinforcement, you thought that was gonna make the behavior reliable. But in your dog's mind, these are completely different contexts. Being on a 30-foot long line versus off leash. Do the rules still apply? Do they? Your dog doesn't think so. And so that's why the solution here, negatively reinforce the recall when your dog is off leash using an e-collar. The e-collar is the only tool in all of existence that allows you to instantly negatively reinforce a behavior when your dog is half a mile away from you. It's the only tool that allows you to do that. And that's how you get your recall to be 100% truly reliable, even off leash, even around distractions. But before you go out and start using an e-collar, you need to watch this video up next that covers the 5 things that you need to do before using an e-collar on your dog.